Welcome back to Cybersea of Galilee DSMME on this beautiful Sunday during Lent. And the cross behind me is very special for a Sunday, and I'll tell you why. Now, during Lent, we have very specific readings, and we notice a progression from Sunday to Sunday that they're going closer to the cross, meaning what? Christ is working redemption so strongly, so quickly in these really 6 Sundays of Lent. But as we get closer, the animosity against him becomes increasingly so. And so we realize that Sundays of Lent are very special calendar marks to say Christ is getting closer to redeeming me, to redeeming you. And as we look at this particular cross, there's many things we could point out about it, but I love this one because of this particular reason. There are 3 sets of these indentations all over the points of the cross. Now, why 3 sets? And so I think on a Sunday, this is a beautiful, quick meditation for us on this Cybersea as we're sailing along, closer and closer into the heart of Christ with his mother. And I believe that these 3 are reminders of the Blessed Trinity, that God is 3 in 1. So we have God the Father who created us. We would not be without God the Father. The world would not be, nothing would be, because God is God and he needs nothing, but he loves outside himself, to the likeness of himself and each one of us, because in our souls there is the life of grace. That's God the Father. Obviously, the second person of the Blessed Trinity is God the Son, who he sent, the Father sent to earth to assume a human body in the incarnation. The body and blood that he had is so like the one I have, the one you have. And that body is in heaven because at the resurrection, he assumed with his body into heaven. So as soon as we get to heaven, we won't have our human bodies with us. We will have our souls, but we will be able to see his human body. Now, what's that like? You go think about that, meditate on that. Okay, and then we have the third person of the Blessed Trinity, the Holy Spirit. And the great theologians and saints and doctors of the church tell us that the Holy Spirit is like the love that the Father and the Son have for each other, that it produces another spirit. Now, in an analogous way, could we not say this is about as pro-life as it gets, that the love of the husband and the wife of the husband produce another child, another human being with an eternal destiny? And so when we see 3, and this is the way the priest many times holds his hands, the 3, and then in 1, because there's one God and 3 persons. And I love this crucifix because it reminds me, as Christ hung on the cross, he didn't hang there alone. He hung there in union, his divine nature, in union with the Father and the Holy Spirit. And so every time you receive the Eucharist, remember, we say it's the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Christ, and we're correct, but God is not diffusive. It's also God the Father and God the Holy Spirit that we receive in that sacred host. Wow. Aren't you just so glad you're Catholic? Signing off from Cybersea of Galilee on this beautiful Lord's Day in this beautiful holy feast named Lent, springtime. God bless.